Hello, hello. We're testing out to see how things are working. So, anybody in the chat, anybody watching, it says we've got 0 people, so that could be difficult. But we'll see where it goes. So, I'm doing a test to see how the colors work with my camera setup. I've just done some adjustments. So, we're going to go from there and see how it goes. And, you never can tell how things are going to, what form things are going to take. So if you're here and you're watching the stream, do me a solid and let me know. Do you hear any music? Is the music incredibly loud? Do you see the picture? Am I even live? Because I'm trying to figure out a couple of settings and then see how the colors go. Doing some new lighting setups, that kind of thing. So we'll see how this all shakes out, and we'll go from there. So let me see here. Okay, cool. So the color looks a little bit better. Looks a little bit more saturated. I'm zoomed out. I've got a different lighting setup happening. So I'm hoping that the picture is a little bit better for you guys, because I thought the picture was terrible earlier today. So let me know if you hear any music, because that's the other thing I'm trying to sort out. Someone had mentioned that they missed the music in the stream. So I'm trying to see if I can find a pleasant, happy medium with the sound in this thing. So let me know if you see it, and if you hear the music in the chat, and we'll go and see where it is. I know there's a little bit of a lag on this from time to time, so we'll go from there. All right, so let's sketch, shall we? Let's see, what am I going to sketch for this test? I'll use the side of this just a little bit so it's not too bad. The thing about actually, you know what? Nah, I'm not doing that. This is if I seem a little indecisive, it's because I hadn't planned on streaming, but I wanted to figure out the colors. So, oh, good, John's in there. Doing good. The music level is good. All right, so you can hear the music. Nice. So here's the deal, John. So I haven't been able to figure out how to get music into StreamYards up until now. So it's good to hear that the music is actually something that you're able to listen to, because it was really bad, and too many windows up got lost in the shuffle. That's okay. That's about where I'm at right now, and still trying to figure out and hash out how to get StreamYards to work, and making sure that I can get the color to be what I want it to be. So I'm doing some tricks here to get the lighting better. I've got 2 45-degree lights going on right now. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. But let's see what we're doing next. Now, I'm just going to do a fun sketch tonight, because I think I could use some fun here to test out a couple of things here. So let's see what we got. Actually, got to zoom in on my reference material here. I will say this. StreamYard is really great for looking at reference, which is one thing that Ecamm was terrible at, because Ecamm basically takes over your entire... Do I want to work with paint? Yeah, I might as well. I don't know. Part of me is now... It's funny. I'm trying to test out different things and how they show up, and I know the paint's going to show up, but I feel like the pencil might not, so I better go with pencil just to see what it looks like. And let's see here. Okay, so that pencil's in shadow of my hand, so that's not showing up as well as I'd like it to. And it's a little light right there in terms of it. Art feed framing looks good. Lighting will be able to tell once you start. Absolutely right, John. Spot on. Yeah, I'm gonna see what this comes out to. So right now the pencil's showing up okay, depending on how I tip things, and we'll see how it goes if it's able to show up. Let me do this. Actually, I think I've got my volume kind of blaring right now. Turn that down a little bit. So the framing is okay, and so now we're just gonna build this out a little bit here. Got nostrils. What we got? teeth. We're going to build out character's head a little bit here. And start roughing in the teeth. And then we'll see... always an odd angle to draw this way, but we'll see if you guys can start to ponder what it is I'm drawing in a second. Like I said, just something for fun and not a scheduled stream, but I just wanted to see if the music would work and then test out the art lighting just a little bit and see how it goes. So do that. There we go. And let me see here, my reference. Okay, so that's starting to do okay. And I'm just trying to, right now, I'm just trying to kind of find this character. I've never drawn this character before, but I've always thought that I might. Or, you know, I always planned on doing it. So I'm kind of still new to figuring out what this character is about. So I'm just kind of moving the eye. Do you have a stagnant image in your imagination, or does it form while you draw? Mixture of both. The way that it works when I'm drawing is I have an idea in my head, and then the paper and pencil have its say, and I have to kind of react to it as it happens. And so I would say that, but it's funny, the way that my brain works, I'm the best at not answering questions you're ever going to meet, and it's not intentional. It's just how my brain works. I get images of movies flashing through my head, everything I've ever seen. I remember I was watching a documentary on Temple Grandin, and they asked Temple if she can remember every pair of shoes she's ever seen, and Temple just goes through every pair of shoes the person has. A little bit like that with imagery. I have a pretty strange memory for certain things, and almost every image I see in terms of movies and things like that comes through my head. But then this is a comic book character, and it's not something that I created, so I'm also looking at, some reference of the character design, because I don't know this character well enough to just draw it out of my head, and I'll probably still take some liberties with it, but I'm going to try to make it something that's true to what the actual character is supposed to be. And if I were drawing one of my characters, it might be somewhat the same, but I mean, the images I have in my head for that are really just something that I kind of draw from my imagination. But with this, it's someone else's character. So, for example, when I'm drawing Cyberfrog, I had to have a lot of reference going for that. That was something to where maybe I had the whole illustration in my head. Like, I've known since I saw this character that I was going to do a side view portrait of it. And I love this character. So, and I love the genre that this character exists in, for anybody who's wondering what I'm drawing. It's a Comicsgate character, though. That's the main thing people need to know, because that's the only stuff I'm drawing right now. When I'm not working on my own book, and I find that sometimes I want to work on my own book just in my lap, not on stream, I'm going to be drawing CG characters, whether it's, character like Masquerade or this character that I'm working on right here. But yeah, I'm actually thinking of Wayne Barlow's concept art, a lot of different stuff, because that fits the genre that I'm drawing. You're probably figuring that out right now, what I'm drawing, but yeah. But lots of respect for this artist, and yeah, everything he's accomplished, everything he's done, and how cool his stuff is. So we'll see. Yeah, that's a really good guess. That's a very solid guess. Yeah, this is going to be a Rex head sketch. That's what I'm working on right now. And I was just, I have this piece of paper that's got a little bit of a a weird bubble on it, so I can't really use it for a final of Nosfero. It would be right. I don't know if you can see that, but the watercolor paper, it looks like it just got hit with some water or steam during the process, so I can't really use it for a Nosfero page. So it makes sense for me to use it as a sketch and a piece of paper to kind of do what I do sketch-wise. So yeah, I'm working on a piece of Rex artwork right now, and it's going to be just a little head sketch. And Shane and I haven't, obviously I haven't spoken to Shane, but I've listened to Shane a lot. And I know that him and I share a favorite kaiju movie, which is Shin Godzilla. And I'm in a bit of a kaiju mood. I almost did a kaiju book. So that was kind of, that was a fun part of it. And I love kaiju stuff. It's so cool. I've got a quite the collection of kaiju stuff that's over there behind me. I've got actually, let me move the camera because I just realized it's just showing my fat head. Hang on a second. Oh my gosh, it's about to fall off the desk here. Oh my god. Sorry guys. I almost had my camera fall off and become unclamped right there. But if you look behind me, depending on what the camera's able to show, you can see some Frazetta stuff. There's about 2 Shin Godzillas over there, and then a bunch of other stuff as well. It was a single front tooth, almost beak-like, that gave it away to me. Excellent, John. So yeah, man. I mean, it's what a cool character, and I want to make sure that when I'm drawing, non-Nosfero stuff, it's going to be CG work. That's just how it's got to be. And I love texture. This is right up my alley. I mean, I was so close to. Before I did my first art book, I really considered doing as my first art book a Comicsgate comic book, but I just didn't have the story down. I did not know what I was going to write for it. So I was like, I'm going to do these art books. I've got a big fan base that's just developed around my artwork. It seems like it'd be a dumb idea to say, hey, I'm going to do a Comicsgate book, especially with all the attention that was on Comicsgate back then. It would have been a bad time to launch a project that I didn't know the story for. Didn't know how to finish. Because that was the last thing Comicsgate needed, was someone to point to and say, oh, well, this person came up with a pitch and launched a book but couldn't figure out what the story was. So yeah, that would have been that. I was never going to take that kind of risk with CG. That can't be happening. And that's why I can tell you with 100% certainty that this book is, my confidence in this book is because I've done 2 other books before and I know all the publishing stuff. But even outside of that, I would have never launched a book without knowing where the story's going. It's just not going to happen. Like, I mean, we all have loose ideas, but you have to have a story you know the end to, and you know where it's going from there. And so it's kind of the opposite of what I did with my art books, because I wanted to do Rigor Mortrex, which was like a horror-based book at first, because I was getting a lot of heat for that stuff. But then all of a sudden, I did a bunch of kaiju work, and the audience was there, and it just seemed like I needed to make a kaiju book while people are there. So believe it or not, my first art book, for those of you guys who have backed at that tier, is kaiju art. So if you're a fan of kaiju stuff, you're going to get, a Jet Jaguar piece in there with Godzilla. You're going to get a bunch of King Kong pieces, because that was is one of my big loves. There's 2 things I love: monster movies and werewolves, and kaiju. And so, yeah, can you believe that? Talk about finding the right place for your work to be. A lot of the stuff that I love is represented in Comicsgate books. Oh, this is going to be badass. Oh, can I zoom? Hold on a second. Can I zoom out slightly on my head? Oh yeah, when you're drawing this. Yeah, see, here's the only problem with that. I'm gonna see what I can do here. Is that it's not so much a zoom out as it's moving the camera, because I have to get the camera somewhat far away from me, and it's not got a zoom on it. So is that a little better? And then let me move it down a little bit just so you can see if I lean forward. Does that work better? Hey, what's up, SDA? Shane Raid. Shane Raid. Yeah. Hail Shane, wherever you are. I'm drawing your character. And I hope Shane knows that I'm working on this character. And I was just watching Ethan's stream earlier, and I thought, This will be a perfect time to do a test, and no one will show up. I can do a camera and color test. So, oh well, so much for that. But you guys are cool and welcome to be here. You're all good lads and ladettes. So here we go. Oh, we just got done. Awesome. I'm amazed he has the strength to stream, man. I remember when my twins were born, and I just did not sleep. Like, I just was so tired. I mean, good Lord. I've never been that tired in my life, but it was great. And I also saw that Yanzi was on the stream too, so it's good to see her up and about. My wife got knocked on her tail a little bit when the kids were born, so it was rough. Oh, cool. All right, cool. Yeah, you miss facial expressions. Oh, now I'm going to be thinking about that. My facial expression is probably somewhere like in that territory. Oh, well. Oh, Christ. You guys are funny. Yeah, I probably look like I'm... God knows what I look like when I'm drawn. I try not to think about that. So it looks like this tooth right here is going to be bigger. But yeah, guys, Inglorious Rex does not need... well, I mean, I backed it, but it does not need me to pump it up. But seriously, if you are one of the handful of people, which I actually don't think anybody is, who haven't backed Inglorious Rex, I'm telling you, like, to me, that's one of the books. There's the sequel to The Lucent. There's Inglorious Rex. There's Snowman, A Cold Day in Hell, and of course Wrecked Planet. But there are a ton. Those are the books that I'm the most excited about. You know, outside of my own book, those are the ones that I'm, you know, the most, you know, psyched about, you know, getting. And I know it's just going to be Shane's best work of his life, because he's, you know, when he says that, I believe him. He's the kind of person who you can take sort of what he says to the bank, because he's just a highly motivated guy. He's also a boxing and kaiju fan. I mean, seriously, I feel like, you know, I feel like I know this guy. Except for the whole I don't have a newborn, which I don't think I could do right now. I'm too tired. I've got two 16-year-olds. So, no, sorry, the nonverbal communication when you are talking. I gotcha. That makes sense. Oh, man. It's too funny. Yeah, I know what you mean. It is a little bit creepy. I think that's, you know, that's one of those things that are, or that is a common thing. I find that people want to see the artist when they're drawing and talking. I think that's kind of important. And yeah, I would agree with that. So that was just a little guideline, because this character, even though I'm going to take a few liberties with it, one of the things I want to make sure that I get correct is some of the placement that's going on with the teeth. And there's this really great lean on this character, if you can see it, that kind of comes across like this. Hey, what's up? How you doing, SI? It's good to see you. Yo, my friend. Yo, indeed. Yeah, but I was watching Ethan's drawing stream earlier, and I was like, felt like I was so ready to watch him just crush it on that stuff. And I think, like a lot of us, he probably was like going, okay, I got to focus on this. I can't be talking. It's too tempting to go on stream when you're working and not talk to the chat. It's a lot. There we go. Bring that jaw around here. And let me see here. I got to tilt it up, because the problem with drawing on a table like I'm doing right now is a lot of times I will draw things in perspective weird, because it's in perspective. The piece of paper looks like this to me. And so I will run into trouble, because then I'll tilt it up and go, oh, that's what it looks like. So that's one of the reasons why you'll see me do things like that. But, you know, I'm thinking about, I was just watching, we got our first TV, really good TV in a long time. We don't buy TVs a lot. We don't have that kind of cash. But my wife decided that she wanted to get, you know, a small TV. But all the TVs these days are 4K. And I've never had a 4K TV before in my life. And I've seen them, but I mean, I haven't had one. And so I watched with my son one of our favorite movies, which is Pacific Rim. And we watched that the other day. And of course, that just got me excited for when he was like really little, when that movie came out. We would just watch that movie together at night and hang out, father, son, kind of hanging out, watching kaiju movies. And it was really great for us, and really nice bonding kind of thing. So I've got a lot of affection for that flick. There's not a lot of Guillermo del Toro movies you can show your kid, and I'm a big Guillermo del Toro fan, but I'm not going to show him The Devil's Backbone. I don't think he needs to understand Franco's Spain just yet. It's kind of, at that age, it was a little bit much. Let me just see here. I would imagine the productivity chat engagement balance would be a little tricky to master. Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. And I'll tell you, I don't think that that artists back in the day, and they were amazing, don't get me wrong, but I don't know that they could have possibly imagined this kind of place that we're in right now, where this is, where we're promoting our work as we're making it. There's no promotional wing for a CG artist. The promotional wing is, so that's the kind of cool thing about it. I liked Trolls. Yeah, there you go. Met Del Toro, great guy. All right, SDA. Yeah. Del Toro, I saw him once when I was visiting a friend who was a concept artist at DreamWorks. And I saw him walking through. Actually, I saw him talking to Jeffrey Katzenberg. It was a long time ago. My kids were little. But I was just walking through the quad, and there he was. And I just thought, oh, there's Guillermo del Toro. That must be just like another day to the people who work here. But I was visiting my friend who created a show on Nickelodeon, and out there because I wanted to meet his fiance. And yeah, it was a cool time, and I got to see Guillermo del Toro. So here we go. Yeah, man, this is starting to come together. It's kind of fun. So what I'm going to do as I sort of rough this guy out is I'm going to start playing around with paint now, because that's sort of the process for me, Tales of Arcadia. Excellent. Yeah. I love Troll Hunters. I watched that with my kids, and they loved it too. I actually did, funny enough, I just realized this. On my Instagram, I did a sketch of the character from Troll Hunters, the big guy. I think his name is Arg. And someone screen capped it from my Instagram, tweeted it Guillermo del Toro, and he retweeted it, which was really hilarious, because I thought, oh, he's never going to see this. He's not going to see anything on Instagram. And sure enough, the internet has its ways, and he ended up seeing it anyway. I was going to try not to smear the pencils here, but then this is a sketch, so we'll just deal with it. I'm going to have to run my hand over it because I don't have a piece of paper. Hey, what's up, Stephen Rockwood? How you doing? Inglorious Rex, you're right. Gosh, sometimes you guys type so fast, I miss it. It's good to have you in the chat, my friend. Yeah, this is Inglorious Rex right here, man. This is what we've got to do. Like I told you guys, and I was sincere when I said it, I am not going to be painting anything in my free time that is not a CG character, because I just prefer to paint things that are creator owned and not corporate at the minute. So that's what we're doing. And Inglorious Rex fits the bill perfectly for that. There we go. And so here we go with the color, and what I'd like to call sort of doing the initial inks, although it's just gouache. It's not inks. So, and I'm going to get into what's great about Shane's stuff is that, he kind of describes the form really nicely. So I get to do, when I do my stuff, what I usually will do is I'll embellish it a little bit, but the more structure I'm starting with, the easier it is for me to kind of mess around and kind of get that sort of Champ effect, whatever that is, that kind of Mobius noodly sort of line that I like to do, and the creature texture. I then get to imagine these things as if they were, created for, like a practical effect or creature suit or something like that, or even, with something like Shin Godzilla, maybe a CG suit that's inspired by the way that the costumes, the man in suit stuff worked. There we go. And then we'll start to play around with that. Get that in there a little bit. And then let me see what else I've got right here. The Lost Pages character reminds me of Arg. Oh, yeah. Wow, that's interesting. From Troll Hunters. Yeah. Good morning, lovelies. Hey, what's up, Tommy? It's good to see you again. I hope you got some rest. I know last time I talked to you, it was like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night there. So hopefully you got some downtime. And good morning, my friend. I mean, you would think it's 2:55 here, guys. What the hell am I doing? But, I just had to test out the color before I went to bed. So I don't know how long I'm going to be able to hold out, but I'll give it a shot. I'll hang in here for a little bit. It's not like I'm going to bed. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm waking up really late or anything like that. Unfortunately, I'm not. I'm just not sleeping at all because of insomnia. It's just one of those things. It's what's for dinner. So let's see here. This, there we go. So yeah, so let's see what we've got here. Yeah, so we've got Tommy here in the chat, and we've got all of our fantastic members of Comicsgate chilling out and having a good time, and that's what it's about at the end of the day. And yeah, I this is a character that is like right up my alley, and I know that it's the kind of character that I'm not gonna completely figure out the first time I illustrate him, but I think it's gonna be I think it's gonna be something that works out, and that that's gonna be a cool piece at the very least, and then we'll see where it goes from there. Bad Crow Comics, what's up? I'm up past my bedtime as well. I'm a terrible influence, guys. This is not good. I hope nobody's going to be operating too much heavy machinery tomorrow or anything like that. So I'm not keeping anybody up and endangering their safety. That is not the goal of this, but it's good to have you with us, guys. I just watched a killer movie earlier that I haven't seen in a while. It's one of my favorite movies. Is a movie called The Fugitive, starring Harrison Ford. Hadn't seen it in ages, and it really is just a fun adventure kind of mystery kind of movie in a way, and really was great. A really great thriller, I guess, is the best way I would call it. And let's see here. Okay, so we're gonna put up some more detail. Let's do this. Let's play around with and let's see what the color does if I move my camera down, if there's any strobing, which that's one of the things I'm a little bit concerned about with the camera, if I move it down. So let's watch for that strobing. I did some color adjustments on this thing, and I just want to see. Yeah, and a great TV show, too. You're right. Absolutely fantastic. I just got off a few night shifts. Excellent. Insomnia is a good friend of mine. Yesterday's Fool, it's good to see you, my friend. So yeah, I mean, guys, listen. It has been such a crazy week this week. And I should say in the last 72 hours, because I don't even know, what week we're technically on. But Tuesday, I believe Tuesday night or evening is when the first 60 days and thus the funding period is going to end for Nosfero the Cryptwalker. And it feels like I just launched it yesterday. And we're almost to $13,000 on it right now. We're at 12,800. And I am just like, bowled over, and there's more to do, there's more to accomplish, but it's just been a great experience. And so I feel like every single day I'm doing this stuff, I'm learning more. I'm learning more about like the camera setups, how to run a really solid CG stream, which I think is important in terms of I do know that I'm going to be having guests on my show at various points and everything like that. And when I'm not doing these art streams, so I have to make sure this works for both an art stream and it works for a for having guests on. And that's a tough thing to kind of figure out, because not a lot of people do art streams, in the sense of, I mean, some people do, but they don't do them as their main focus. And that's always been my focus, has been solo art streams. So I was a little concerned about the camera setup when I was working, but I'm actually pretty happy with how this is coming together right now. So we'll see. There we go. Getting a little bit more detail in here. And let's see here. I'm going to get some texture. So yeah, one of the things I always say is that when you're drawing kaiju or monsters, you really want to think about, particularly because they're so much larger than a regular character. You want to think about the detail and the texture, which is why I loved illustrating them so much when I was doing my first art book, and why I think of the kind of Lovecraftian beasts that I'm going to be having in my book as being kaiju, because I think it makes sense to think of them in those terms. So, and that's certainly how I'm illustrating them. I'm illustrating them with that kind of weight and mass. And so that's the kind of thing that you're always going to see me doing when I'm working, is trying to get that kind of believable texture. Bad Crow Comics in the house. And of course, salutations to John, who was, I think, the first person in the stream. So that's, it's always good to see people. I didn't know that, people would be able to leave comments while I was setting it up, but I thought that was really cool. It was nice to see, because then I was like, all right, I got to go for it now. Got to make it happen. There we go. So now we're going to see about putting in a slightly bigger brush right there. And I'm going to try to start defining a little bit more of the cheekbone area on this character. Really try to bring that together. So here we go. Let's see here. I'm trying to see what I've got for it there. So here we go. I love art. Just love art so much, guys. Art's the best. It saved my life, and comics kind of had that in the sense, like it's just the thing that just sort of made life, what it was. It kind of was the thing that gave it its flavor, and really made it really inspired me in my life. And I'm always love seeing great artwork, and I love making artwork. I love everything about it. And I don't need, or I always tell people this, is that I don't need art to give me anything. I love it so much. I'm just like, I take it as is. I've loved making artwork when I was getting rejection letters from comic book companies. I've always loved it. Oh, thanks. Yesterday's. Well, I like to think it's not just a one-sided abusive relationship, but you never know. I did have moments of that. Let's see here. I tried, let me see. One of those brushes, it seems I have an odd curled tip. Yes, at least with ink. Yeah, that can happen. Thank you, Yesterday's Fool, for Art Loves You Too. Maybe one day I'll share a fish with you. Yes. It's okay. I won't tell Pamela T-Bear you love art. I said, listen, of course, we all love art, man. I mean, I made sure he got that fish when I did that intro, right? So come on, man. Gotta love art. Hail chat from Sumo Thori. Sumo Thori, it's good to have you in the house. Art is old and not a bad. Wait, hold on a second. Art is old and not a bad drummer too. I don't know. Old, what is old? I'm getting there. I'm getting there myself. So I'm feeling it. Us and our reading glasses. Let's see. T-Bear would be happy hearing that. Yeah, absolutely. No, honestly, I was saying this the other night, but one of my early comic book memories of going to conventions and trying to get work back in the day, as I think I would have been just before I went off to college, and the industry was kind of on its knees, was getting the black and white ash can, which was crazy. Art is Highlander old. There can only be one. Art, the Silver Fox. Absolutely right. So yeah, I remember getting the black and white ash can and having that in, polybagged and in my, collection of comics, up until, how comics can go. There was a couple, your collections can sometimes be a couple of moves away from, disappearing. And so I kind of lost my collection when I was in college. So it is what it is. But because it's like so hard to move with that stuff. I've lost some great stuff in moves, and it's always tough. I lost some signed Dave Stevens prints and things like that I had. Oh, kills me, but it happens. It's the quickening. Sumo Thori, hi John. I'm still nursing my wounds from getting outbid in the auction earlier. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Yes, and SDA says T-Bear is a legend, and absolutely right. And I'm sorry to hear you got outbid. That's tragic. Oh man, what a bummer. Good Lord. Yeah, I've had some. The only times I've ever been out are the. I guess a lot of us have probably been outbid, but I've had some being outbid on eBay that have been pretty painful. I just, ugh, God, it's always rough. I don't do a lot. I don't do a lot of eBay bidding. I do a lot of buy now, but it's always frustrating because when I do bid on something, it's because it's something that I really, really love and I really want to be able to get. And unfortunately, it's just not in the cards sometimes. Yeah, that does hurt indeed, Sumothori from John. John's giving you some sympathy there for that because I think we can all imagine being there and have been there probably. So now I'm going to go in and use this Faber-Castell pit pen and kind of go in and just play around with some of the detailing and the texture right in there. And if you look at, I'm trying to think of how I can do this. Hang on a second, guys. Let me try something really quick and see if this, let me try something really quickening. See if this works. Kind of zoom that over and then we'll see. Oh, cool. Yeah, that did something. I'm going to zoom that over so you guys can see some of the detail lines a little bit in here. Let's see here. Being outbid just means that you have a thing you already love more. That's right. Yeah, absolutely right. Why sage wisdom from Tommy today? It's because it's the morning there, I guess. Maybe you're just well rested and your mind is crisp and sharp, and you're here to help all the rest of us with the same with our slow moving brains this hour. So I'm going to show you guys a fun little trick that I like to do every now and again. I don't do it on every piece, but I have been known to do it just to augment some of the detail stuff that I'm doing. So let me see how much this hasn't. Cool. But when I get to an area where things get a little bit dark, for me, when I do a wash, I'll often go in with a white Sakura Jelly Roll gel pen and just pick out a couple of highlights ever so softly in there and try to bring in a little bit of that detail right there into the eye. Let's see if we can get that to focus. There we go. So just try to kind of put in that detail. Let's see, being outbid. You going to be in any CG auctions or anything in the future, Sean? What do you? Hold on a second. What do you do with these non-Nosfero pieces? Well, these non-Nosfero pieces could very well end up in an auction. I was thinking of putting the piece I did of Dan Fraga's Black Flag character up for an auction, but Dan told me after the stream I was on that he wants to buy it from me. So I'm obviously not going to list something that he wants to buy. I'll see where he's at soon. And then the John Malin piece, I think I'm probably going to put up for sale or auction at some point. That's the one that's in the Visions book. That's of Lilith in a swamp basically in the Louisiana Bayou, which is a very Lovecraftian location, and with the giant crocodiles around her. So for any of you guys who have the Visions book, it's back in the gallery section, and you can get a look at the smaller piece there. And it's also, I think it's up on my Twitter feed. So that one's definitely for sale. This one, who knows? It's let me see here. Okay, cool. So basically like Bancroft with his K levels. Yeah, I wasn't going to be the one to say it, but I just saw his wrestling promo video and was just dying laughing at that thing. That was so funny, man. He cracks me up. Also, call me, well, whatever. Every time I say call me crazy, my wife always shouts from the other room, although she's passed out right now. She always shouts from the other room, crazy. But I was laughing because I could, every time I get a chance to like get a glimpse of any of my fellow CGers kids, it always just cracks me up. And I loved seeing Michael's daughter pushing up on him as he was doing the sit-ups, man. It kills me. And of course, Gabe's daughter was on his stream, the father-daughter stream he does with his older daughter, who's I believe a comedian and actress, if I'm not mistaken, and was out in Hollywood for a little while. So yeah, I love seeing, I mean, it's just this family quality. You love seeing, people doing well with all their little peeps around them, or as I call my kids, the little people of Stonehenge, even though they're 16. Let's see here. Guess I'll have to save up for that. That's right. Yeah. Victoria for the win. Absolutely. Yeah. The one finger pull up. That's right. That's right. Well, that's how we, that's the secret to us parents. We start leaning on our kids, more and more. Like my kids are learning how to drive right now, which is kind of mind blowing to me. And really proud of them. It's like my son is a really skilled 3D model artist. He's like, he taught himself how to 3D model in Blender when he was, like 14 or 15. And then he started doing, designs for, he started being a developer and doing designs for an online free aviation game, making accurate airplanes. I mean, that kid is nuts. Let me see here. The one finger pull up. I didn't see that Bancroft Narwhal battle yet. Yeah, I'm curious to see how that goes. Yeah, those guys are great. They crack me up. I mean, and again, it's so funny. Everything is like 1 degree of separation away in CG, but I remember editing Narwhal's teaser trailer for Earthbound 2, and I'm just thinking how cool it's going to be to get that book. And it's like Michael, of course, I just will always think about launching the book on his stream and accidentally pre-launching it. But it was just it was a great launch stream anyway for me because it was just, it was just crazy. It's just it's such an insane time. I can't believe it was only 60 days ago. And it's been great to paint his character. Had to be done. Had to be done. In addition to the pieces sent to Mel of ARO. Better adjust my glasses here. Hang on a second. Bancroft posted his response video on his YouTube channel. Yeah, it's awesome. Let's see here. Now he can do CG models. Yeah, that's right. He can. Yeah, you're absolutely right. He can. He's got a ton of skill. Oh, did you mean the breaking rad battle? Either. Oh, cool. All right. Hey, Jeremy Burtz, how you doing, brother? Good to see you. Yeah, I'm working on an Inglorious Rex piece, my friend. And how are you doing? It's always great to see everybody greet each other in these chats. It's really nice. I know that's it may sound silly, but I do enjoy it. I do enjoy the camaraderie that we have in CG and the way that everybody's supporting books. I mean, guys, we're at 182 backers on Nosfera the Cryptwalker, and I am so excited about that. So we're just going to keep getting the word out and keep promoting that book. And I'm just going to keep, aspiring to, achieve and succeed. I'm getting inspired from seeing people like Shane Davis and Yanzi and, Ethan and John and Michael Bancroft. I mean, it's amazing to see these campaigns achieve something, that is, what the word I'm looking for is, to achieve something that allows people to have some level of financial stability by their own hands. I had a colleague of mine from my academic job that I had up until this past summer. I was just like, I can't do this anymore. I've got to go CG on this. These kinds of things don't come along very often. And I just sort of knew the time was right. And they contacted me and were kind of curious how things were going, although it seemed like they did know how things were going, and so it is what it is. Hi, SDA Sumo Thori. Hi, Jeremy. We've got from everybody greeting Jeremy, and then we've got never know who might be having the worst day of their lives. A simple hello may mean more than you ever know, and I agree with that 100%. 100%. So here's an interesting, or perhaps not interesting, Guillermo del Toro story. So I went up with my family, and you guys can see the video. You can see my son when he was shorter, and my daughter is even in the video, kind of walking around. You can see her. She's the one looking at a phone because she gets easily scared by by monsters and creepy mannequins and things. So the Guillermo del Toro exhibit was not really the best thing in the world for her in terms of things she was excited about. But anyway, but when I was there in Toronto, I had gotten formaldehyde poisoning from this leather chair that we had got that was like a bootleg chair. We bought it on Amazon, had no idea. So I was in pretty rough shape. So I couldn't walk very well, and my respiratory system was a mess. I was on like inhalers and all this other stuff. So we're leaving the hotel, and there's this guy who is the cab driver, and the train station was walkable, but not walkable for me. Like it was about 10 blocks or so away. So it's not a huge fare for a cabbie. So he's waiting outside the hotel. We get in the cab, and he was like, he was like, do you want me to drive you to the train station? I mean, this is like no money for me. Like he was really hostile with us about having to drive that far and complaining and kind of rolling his eyes and, being whatever. And he was younger than me by a couple of years. He was clearly like an immigrant, to the country. And I'm sure it was a part of his income or whatever. So we get to the train station finally, or not the train station. Sorry, the bus station. The train that takes in Toronto that takes you to the airport. That's where he wanted to drive us to the airport. And my wife and kids got out of the car, and I went to go pay for him, and I gave him a very generous tip. And he looked at it, he was in shock, and he goes, "That's a big tip that you just gave me." And I said, "Yeah, it is. It is." He goes, "But I wasn't nice to you. I was rude to you." And I said, "Yeah, you were. But I know every dollar counts sometimes, and every bit helps. And pay it forward. Change your mood today. Pay it forward. Be nice to people, help people. You never know who it is you're picking up, and that people are kind." And he was like, "Well, can I help you with your bags?" I was like, "Don't worry about it. We got them. It's not a lot of stuff, man. But just like have a good day, and think about that we don't always have to just assume the worst about people." And it's one of those things that to me, every now and again I have those kinds of moments where I try really hard. In some cases not so much, but in some cases I kind of think to myself, what's going to have more of an impact on people? Do you know what I mean? It's just kind of crazy. And let's see here, just checking. I miss the chat often. All right, Tom. Well, you got to walk that dog. You got to take care of the dog. Here we go. And so, yeah, those are the things I think about sometimes. I mean, it really is. People get so. I would say this that pop culture and social media, but it's also us have done a really good job of convincing us that we have carte blanche when it comes to, taking, the piss out of people. And I mean, it's some people you got to stand up to. Some people you got to say, no, that's wrong. But I think when the problem is when we're in a fighting stance, whenever we meet people, again, we just don't know. And sometimes if we're getting down and we're seeing too much stuff that's making us feel like everything is hopeless, I think it can be a really good thing to balance your diet with hopeful stuff and just watch what you're putting into your head. Because I do love that quote from, I think it was Marcus Aurelius who said, or it could have been Epictetus, but I think it was Marcus Aurelius that said, "The soul becomes stained with the color of its thoughts." And I think about that a lot. Like what I'm putting out there for my kids who I love, what I'm putting out there for my wife, who is like my best friend and who of course I love. And it's got to put that stuff out there. Like, just some of the assumptions we run into. And you're right about that. Let me just read this. Bad Crow Comics. I tend to assume people are in a quiet struggle of some kind. Absolutely. But where are you? Where is, sorry. It's, let's see. 49 subscribers on my Substack, growing nicely. So I don't know who you're asking. Oh, middle of Finland. Yeah, that's right. So yeah, you don't have to worry as much. But yeah, I know it's freezing, freezing. Who was talking about? Oh yeah, it was Stephen Rockwood was giving us all a run for our money in terms of the temperatures he was experiencing. Man, I tell you what, some of you guys are experiencing some cold weather, some very cold weather right now. So stay warm, stay warm, and take care of yourselves. And yeah, and you got to walk the dog sometimes. But man, don't get frozen out there. Bad Crow Comics. Yeah, I tend to assume people aren't quite struggle. Absolutely right. And I always say that, there's that famous quote that my wife saw a version of that was a little bit different, but it said, "Be kind. Everybody you meet is fighting a private struggle or a personal struggle you know nothing about." And I think that's true. And I think at the same time, what's tricky right now with us is that there are, and I'm not trying to go in and undo everything I just said, but there are a group of people, which is to say SJWs, that are hell bent on using the benefit of the doubt or the portrayal of themselves as victims to try to crush and ruin people's lives. And it really, what I hate about that whole culture the most is, hey, what's up? Yeah, it is Rex Admiral Wack. It's good to see you. Sumo Thori, I thought it was cold. Yeah, exactly. But let me just say this. They are using that. The worst thing about them is they're eroding the social fabric with it. They're using other people's benefit of the doubt and then, stabbing them with it and twisting the knife. And that's why these people are so awful and so parasitic. So I always say, got to walk a fine line. Try to be kind to strangers. But again, I love that other quote, which I think is a Maya Angelou quote. But once somebody shows you who they really are, their true colors or whatever, never forget. Like, believe them when they show it. Bottoms up on the Coca-Cola. And it's one of those things that just pisses me off because I've said this before. I've had students who have been amazing and been through terrible things and been the kindest people I've ever met. And I've met students who, walk into my classroom with a sob story and turn out to be total sociopaths in the way they treat other people. And I've had that happen with teachers, fellow, not many fellow faculty, but I've had a few in an 18-year teaching career. Not many, but man, I have seen some barking people who use sympathy to twist it, And yeah, you're right. I mean, bitterness is easier. Yeah. Vic got canceled. Wait, what? Ugh. Always look on the bright side of life. God dang it. Yeah. These people are disgusting parasites, and that's that. Yeah, they have him escorted off the property, because he's such a dangerous uh guy. But see, that's a perfect example, right? Um, that's that is why we're here. That's why we're making our own stuff. And I think it was on my stream 2 days ago when John said that. He goes, "We're not gatekeeping people here unless you're an SJW, unless you're essentially a social terrorist who's going around trying to ruin people's lives." And I think that what a lot of these people don't realize who are doing this stuff is there's going to come a time when your participation in this stuff is going to be something that stays with you, that people remember when the pendulum swings. And I think it's a very stupid thing. Let me see here. Stephen Rockwood drawing will warm up soon. It says 21 Celsius now, and it feels like 29 Celsius will be a cold week. But then there's a warm mass coming. Awesome. Yeah, he was going to be at a booth, and Anna was going to help him out. Yeah, that was the Flashcast topic. I didn't watch, though. Yeah, it's... Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that those, like, how do I word this? Nobody is perfect, and in his deposition, I think, and Nick Rekieta did a great job of covering it. we got a sense of Vic's imperfections. But by and large, he has changed and helped a lot of people in their lives. But here is the thing about it is that these people are broken. There's something wrong with them, and they will not stop because they have nothing else going on in their lives. And it's like, I would rather be around people, frankly, who are standing up to this and who will have your back in a crisis than be around people who will throw you under a bus. It really is kind of, it's amazing. And I think that a lot of people are really naive about this stuff. And I guess that's probably one of the best things about CG. Watch me try to turn this around to something positive. Is that CG is a place to where, yeah, you can burn bridges in CG if I don't know, if you decide to, as some people have, to tell Ethan Van Sciver they don't like him at all, or I don't know, piss off John Malin, God forbid, or whatever. I mean, people can do things and backstab people, and that's a whole nother kettle of fish. But what is not going to happen when you have relationships with people is have some complete random campaign of people accuse you of being, like, say, a Nazi or worse, and there are things that are worse than that, which I think Vic was accused of, which is kind of one of their other go-tos. As I like to refer to it, yeah, I've got a couple of ways I like to refer to that. But anyway, but it's one of those things to where you have to ask yourself, yeah, they are locusts. You're absolutely right. And it's so sad that they need to tear others down to feel better about themselves, or for some clout they hope to get from their fellow saws. Yeah. Well, here's the thing I would say. I'm guessing that was SJWs, not saws, but it works for saws, unless it is saws and there's some new term I'm missing. But this is the thing I want you guys to be thinking about just a little bit here, okay? Is that the thing that we need to make sure that we're explaining to people, or at least that is important for people to know, and it's why it says my videos were ending with, and a lot of my streams were ending with, made with liberty in the USA. What we believe in is a very simple thing. It's the principles of the United States in many cases, and Western civilization as it evolves, which is innocence until proven guilty. So before I know anything else, and we don't actually proclaim people as innocent in our society, which is a really interesting phenomenon in America anyway. We declare people not guilty. So the burden of proof in the States anyway is that you have to, beyond a reasonable doubt, know somebody is guilty, and they're either guilty or not guilty. We never describe anybody as innocent because we're not naive. But we also have an understanding that the burden of proof for declaring somebody guilty is really, really high. And Vic was convicted without a trial. He was presumed guilty, and he had his whole life tore down. Now, one of the things that's unfortunate that nice people have to learn a little bit, all of us do, anybody who's nice, is to learn how to not trust certain kinds of people. Like, you have to learn how to spot these parasites. And, I think that a certain amount of doubt has to be there with the people we form relationships with. You have to see how people are going to treat you and whether people really have your back or not. And that's something that takes time. But I think it's safe to say that in that industry and in that place, none of the people who he thought of as friends were friends. And how many creators have we seen, whether it's at DC Comics or Marvel Comics, have come to realize that the people they thought had their back didn't? And I've seen it happen in academia too. And it's a really depressing thing to realize that, the people that you are spending time with and who you are working, with, and supposedly, kind of all on the same team, don't have your back when push comes to shove. But it's the best thing in the world you can do, I think, and I think Vic is working on various things. I hope he is to get clear of these people and start your own stuff. You are not going to win on their ground. It's not going to happen. And that's why CG is one of the most important movements in the creative field that there ever has been. Yeah, receipts before accusations. Exactly. And I think SJW is not Saw as a sumo authority. I assume that's what it was. John says, but hold on a second. Let me move my reference material here, brother. 1 second here. Receipts before accusations. Absolutely. Admiral Wackass says, it is shifting all the time to the opposite. Court of public opinion is stronger than ever. You're right, Admiral Wackass. John says, Admiral Wackass, I pray the pendulum effect happens before some sort of crash. Yeah, I think it actually is. I have a pretty look. Don't go and take this to the to the horse races, and don't take this to the stock market. But I have a pretty good history of being able to kind of read the pulse of certain things and public opinion and how things are shifting. And the analogy that I like to use is how do I put it? That it's who was the author who had this famous quote? The 3 things to beware of. Come on, comic skaters. I know you guys are smart and you read a lot of books and you're going to know this, but it's oh God, A Night with No Moon, A Sea in a Storm, and the wrath or the anger of a quiet man. And I think that the version of that applies to society and politics is beware of the wrath of the moderate, because the moderate even keeled people will look at things from both sides for as long as they can. And once they decide I'm done with this crap, they go hard to the other side. And I think that's what you're seeing. You're seeing a lot of people who consider themselves to be moderates completely saying, I am now going to go in this opposite direction hard because this has to be balanced and stopped. I'm hearing it all the time. Let's see here. Tommy says, hopefully the swing is not too strong. Well, listen, here's the problem, right? If one believes that for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction, I would say that the pendulum, every time the pendulum gets pulled further and further in this direction, and the longer it takes for that pendulum swing to start, the chances are the more extreme. And I don't see, when people say extreme, I will say this: it won't be any worse than living in this time period that we're in right now, but it will be the opposite of it. And it's unfortunate because I think it's so dumb that people have been operating without consequences for so long, And it's interesting, it's if there's one thing I know a lot, again, this is the thing about damn you people, you smart people. When I'm talking to a group of smart people, I kind of feel as though, and that's how I intend to talk to comic skaters. That's how I intend to talk to people who back Nosfero, my comic book. I'm going to talk to you guys like you're intelligent people and assume that's the case. Yeah, that's right, Rothfuss, the wise man's fear. There you go. Excellent. There you go. The wise man's fear. And then there you have it. Hopefully swing not too strong. So here's what I'm going to say. Here's what I'm going to say about this stuff, okay? Is that we're an intelligent group of people, and we're certainly aspiring to be intelligent all the time. We're trying to learn. We're trying to figure out what it is that we want to do with this thing. We know full well that there's this core aspect of humanity, the stories that stand the test of time, the ideas that stand the test of time, tends to not be extreme views and values. They tend to be, you can be resolute without being an extremist. There's a huge difference between those two. And so what I always think is important for us is when we kind of state our values, when we put our values out there, which is to say, in CG, we are people who share an idea of how we can put our work out there, but we do not believe in, the ideology that everybody is the same and everybody is going to have equal success in every single thing they do. But we do think that people are deserve to be as successful as their talent and their work ethic takes them. If someone is communicating well on YouTube and you feel a connection with them and you like their work, then you should be supporting their work. And if you don't, then you're not obligated to. That's not something that it's like, well, why isn't this happening? And one of the things I'm so excited about, this is so dumb because I I don't know how, I don't know, it's not dumb, it's just who I am, but it's, well, maybe that's the same thing. But I look and I went to go get some reference for Inglorious Rex, and I saw Shane Davis's total, and it made me so stinking happy for the guy. I was like, he's got a new kid, and he's got, his wife and him. It's going to make their lives better. Isn't that what you want for people, for God's sake? Let me just read this here. Oh, yeah, Stephen Rockwood drawing. Thank you so much, my artist brother. Saying texture on this is looking good, Sean. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. All will be good if the swing is for freedom to realize your dreams. Absolutely. There will be overblown things, but good old hippies and punk rock are welcome back. Absolutely. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. I think that, I think about things like Star Trek a lot, actually, but I think about things like Star Trek coming out of the turbulence of the 60s, the kind of apathy and sort of cultural void of the 70s, producing, Star Wars and Close Encounters and Jaws and all of these movies that helped us to kind of really reassess things. This great periods of cinema that were a response to decadent periods of kind of nihilism and cultural or social relativism. And I think that will happen again. I'm very confident about that. Let's see here. Seeing others happy. This is John. It's so funny. It looks like a Bible quote when I read it. John 3:36 a.m. Seeing others happy has never made me sad. Exactly right. Yeah. I mean, when I see my wife or kids happy, to me, that's the best. Like, I don't understand. That's my highest level of happiness. Seeing my son, I don't know, find a documentary or a movie on tanks. He just found a Russian fiction film, I guess it was, on that involved tank warfare and escaping from enemy lines, and he was telling me about it. And there's a slow-mo shot he was describing to me that was this depiction of the cannon or the tank, weapon firing, and then it was going through all of these things, and the camera was following it, and it was really showing how the armor was set up. And I just thought, you know what? I love seeing how happy and enthusiastic he is about the things he's passionate about. And if you're passionate about comics, fantasy storytelling, or independence and supporting independence, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here, and thank you for supporting Nosfero. And thank you for supporting all of the comics in Comicsgate. But, for me, it's a very personal, real-time experience to see you guys backing Nosfero. Like, I mean, when my wife goes into our Indiegogo and she sees upcoming disbursement and it's, more money than it was the day before, that's not just going to making the book. That's going to making sure that my brushes are sharp, that my brushes can go to points, that I can get more paint, that I can get, supplies. Like, this stuff is important. This is the making of the book. It's not just the comic book itself. And I've done it 2 other times. So, you're going to get your book, but it's, buying art supplies is important, and all of that stuff that goes to making this whole thing come true, which is great. And I want to see people. I know that and Ethan is so right when he says this, but human nature is human nature. And he's right to be very wary of putting people in the spotlight, because we've already watched people make a lot of money off of Ethan's platform and stab him in the back. I mean, it sucks. And it was awful to watch. So just like I love seeing people happy, seeing people like Vic getting trounced, or seeing Ethan get backstabbed, or this knitting person that my wife follows just having her whole life destroyed starting on Thanksgiving over something that was completely innocuous and absolutely asinine. That stuff makes me a bit angry. I'm very I have a very strong sense of fairness, and I do not care for cruelty. So let me see here what we got here. I'm trying to read with these glasses. Sorry about that, guys. Arrogant Ape says, "Hail, Sean and all. Is this an Inglorious Rex piece?" Yeah, I'm doing an Inglorious Rex sketch to chill and test my camera out, guys. So yeah, you guys are here for a test stream. I didn't think that we'd have that many people here, to be honest with you. So I'm a little surprised. But John being in the stream at the start, he brings all the gators to the yard. That's what we got, guys. You guys are all backing this book and making this stuff happen for me. So if you haven't backed the book yet, please go and back the book. Nosfero the Cryptwalker. The link is in the description. And if you already have backed the book, thank you. Thank you for doing this. I love comics. This thing is going to be fucking rad. I'm so excited to get it to you guys. So excited to get it to you. I mean, I want it to be one of those Comicsgate books that is in that collection you guys all have. And I tell you what, I say this, and this is not something I say very often, or it's just not who I am to say things like this, but you don't want to miss out on this book. I'm going to tell you that right now. You're going to be kicking yourself if you miss out on it, because it's going to be a really kick-ass book, and it's going to be the start of something. And I will say this, another thing you don't want to miss out on my campaign, because I'm not going to be reprinting these particular books, are art books 1 and 2, my first 2 art books. Once those are gone, if that artwork is ever collected again, it'll be in another book. So this is the end of those first printings being available as perks for campaigns. I really don't think we're going to have enough, and that I'm going to want to do it again. So if you haven't purchased art book 1 and 2 yet, I would get on that, because that's just, those books are going to be really, really rare. And they're so worth it, because they have the work that led to the creation of Nosfero, and art book 2 has the first illustrations of Nosfero in it, because I was like, I need to have a kind of pulpy, cool horror character. Like, I want to create my version of Conan, Blade, The Punisher, and Van Helsing from the Hammer horror films. And so he's on the cover of art book 2. And it is not the best drawing of him, but there's a few others. There's one other, I think, inside the book. And but it's a great piece. I do like the piece a lot. It's right here. So instead of talking about it, picture's worth 1,000 words, they say. But got the ring light on. Hang on a second. Let me turn that off here. There we go. So this is the piece that, of course, has a female figure in a transparent nightgown, because that's how I roll. Let's see here. I got the art books myself. Awesome. Thank you, Arrogant Ape. I know you do, man. I know you've got those, and I appreciate it. Let's see here. I want creators to create an author platform. Okay. Build a personal reach. Yep. Have a mailing list. Yes. God, I read so slow. Crowdfund. Use the author platform to sell more books. 6, and utilize ads to bring more eyes to the platform. Awesome. I think I know what that is. When you say utilize ads, can you explain that a little bit more, Tommy? Because I'm just curious. I literally don't understand it. Like, it's like, I'm like, what does that exactly mean? But I think I know what you mean, but I don't want to guess. So yeah, with this piece right here, this was a very sort of Rosetta piece. And if you get art book 2, what's great is, before I put the transparent nightgown on the figure, I painted the figure without the transparent nightgown on. So this is a giant close-up where you can actually see the watercolor texture that's in the back of the book. And then I also have a black and white in here of the werewolf face that's at like 200%, or not 200%, like 500% resolution. So I've got some close-ups where you can see the texture of the paper. Like these are like 90 times larger than the originals are. And so, yeah, this book has got some of the craziest and most detailed work in it of all these different things, man. It's looking great. I love that book, but this one's going to blow it out of the water. Like, it's just the way it is, because it's just, there's something about story that is, just, I love individual images, and my individual images often have an element of storytelling in them, because I'm an illustrator. So I always want to, have a story element to it. But there's nothing like comics, guys. That's my art form. That's what I love. And that's the first art form I ever started really creating in all seriousness. So it is what it is. And gosh, one of these days, one of these streams, I promise, I'm going to zoom the camera out and I'm going to do an art showing stream. So I've got the originals. They're just in a folder or not a folder, in a portfolio in the other room. I have all the originals to those pieces. And I'll get those out at some point, and I'll show you guys right up close on them so you can see what the originals look like on camera, because they're really cool looking when you get down on them. You can see every little like textural element and then all the details and the tiny brushwork. Like, I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. Let me see here. Okay, whoa. Let me scroll. You guys are typing. When you have a personal web page, you can use Facebook or Google ads to get more signups for mailing lists. Oh, cool. And more sales. When you have an Amazon version, you can use Amazon ads. I want more people to use those. Very cool, Tommy. I'm going to put that there. So, with your new setup in StreamYards, you could flip through and comment on your art books. Oh, interesting. Might spur more interest. That's really cool. You can use your setup in StreamYards so you can flip through and comment on your art books. Might spur more interest. I think I understand what you're saying there, John, but my brain is at this hour, like as we approach 4 a.m, I got to be honest with you, I'm not 100%. Oh, I think I know what you mean. You can flip through. Oh, yeah. Okay. Got you, John. Yeah, I'm going to have to look into that. So let me give you guys a close-up here, too, so you can see the work we're doing. Do you guys see what I mean? Like, this is the work that kind of goes into making these pieces, whether it's the comic book stuff or it's anything else. And I'm going to give you guys a little bit of an angle here so you can see what the lighting kind of does on that paper texture. But then when you zoom out, you kind of get a sense of how the detail tightens up, and it kind of becomes a little less obvious, compared to what it was before. So because I've got this kind of purple, pinkish kind of character, kind of like a peachy sort of colored character, what I want to do is something that Shane does really well is he kind of gives this sort of quality of skin where you see the sort of subsurface scattering that would happen if it was a 3D model, or the light diffusion that would happen. So one of the things I want to do right in here is I want to take a little bit of a warm orange, even though I might go, wash over it and lose some of it. But I'm going to take that warm orange and I'm just going to kind of wrap it in there to settle that tooth down and get it into that space. And then if I feel like it got a little too dark right there, I'll just roll my brush and it'll absorb some of it. And then I can kind of just bring it around to sort of create that reality of the skin texture just a little bit, so that there's warms where those highlights had been. Because remember, when I go in and I start putting more detail in there, then I'm really going to bring out more of those highlights. But the strength of those highlights is going to depend pretty heavily on the middle tones that I put down. And so one of the things that I know that John talks about with coloring is he always says, don't let anything go to white. Like, use the white of the page very sparingly, and or the white color very sparingly, so that you get this richer kind of color quality to it. And I think that's really true. I think it's really true, and it's one of the first things I learned about when I was painting. You guys can open this. You guys can open this in another window. I'm going to see if I can pull this off. I should be able to pull this off. So fingers crossed. God willing, and the creek don't rise, as they say. But let me see where this is. I think I've shown that one before. But let me go to menu, paintings, silver screen. Here you go. So these are old. I don't know what year I did these in, but they probably say on there they're a couple years old. But I would have one big brown smear on my page. Well, I used to be like that. Definitely. So I'm going to paste this in the chat. This is my website, and it's got some of my paintings on it. But if you click that link, you'll see the very first painting you're going to see is my painting of Woody Strode. You'll also see a Humphrey Bogart. But that's how crazy my stuff can get color wise with acrylics. And that's like sort of where my painting skill set is. So I'd encourage you guys to open that up in another window so you kind of get a sense. But there's also nature paintings and like, um, very interesting sort of stuff that shows, the full range of different stuff I've tried. But you're right. I mean, it's hard not to get, things to smear sumo. I mean, and you kind of, I mean, I would say this is that I've been doing this for a very long time, and I needed every single bit of that time to get to the point that I'm at right now. And that's again the other thing. I have a lot of respect for CG. I have a lot of respect for Ethan and John and what they've accomplished and what they've been through and all of that kind of stuff. I mean, I don't want to keep beating that over the head with beating that point like a dead horse. But the simple fact of the matter is that I do appreciate having been there during a lot of that time. That this thing wasn't built in a day, and it took a lot of sacrifice and it took a lot of risk for it to be here. And even though there is still risk involved in doing this stuff, there's nothing like when it was just a few people and nobody knew if when John didn't know if Jawbreakers Lost Souls was going to even fund or if it was just going to tank. And that was, this is the thing. When I walked away from academia, that was like my whole life for 18 years. I put in so much work to get to the point that I got to. And it was a very hard decision, but it was not worth being miserable and giving up all those things. Oh, yeah, the African Queen. Yeah, I love that stuff. Creature from the Black Lagoon. If you look at the Creature from the Black Lagoon, you can see that I hid my kids' names. And I think I hid Lauren and my names in there, but the kids were so young. I think it says mommy and daddy in there. So it's ridiculous. But those are the things you do when you got kids. You do silly things like that. I asked my daughter. She goes, "You got to put your name in there." And I said, "Oh yeah, well, like I don't know how I could put that in there well." And she's like, "It's simple. You could write it right there, Daddy." And I went, "Oh. That's my name." I get it. I forgot I'm not a real actual person anymore. I'm a parent. It's too ridiculous, man. Yeah, I love the African Queen piece because I just went nuts with the colors on that, man. I went nuts on that, and it was a blast to do. And this is another piece that's a blast right now, actually, because I love me some kaiju. So, do we have any people who collect like kaiju vinyl stuff or figures or anything like that? I know it's a big hobby depending on who you're with. I'm sure Shane collects it, but I'm always curious if anybody else does because I love that stuff. I got into it. Oh, you saw Daddy on the bottom right. Yeah. You guys are eagle eyes, man. Yeah. One of the things about having kids, right, as you know, I'm sure a lot of you guys know, is that, it's so important that they feel, and for me, it's definitely the case that they feel involved. Believe me, if my kids could appear on stream and say hi to you guys and be a part of it, if we didn't live in a totally insane world, I would put them on in a minute because I think they really want to kind of say to you guys like, hey, like they're proud. When they see how the Indiegogo is doing and they see you guys, like whatever you think you're painted as, if any of you worry about that out in the world, there are a lot of kids whose parents are making books in Comicsgate and who are putting their stuff out there. And to my kids, you guys are cool. And if you go and look at the stream where John Malin popped in on my stream, I asked him when he was on the stream, I said, could you say hi to my kids? I told him my kids' names and he said hi to them. And my son was upstairs watching and he was so excited. But my daughter, who is a huge fan of John Malin, she loves the Raised by the Wolves intro rework I did. And she goes, the Raised by the Wolves guy, you're going on the Raised by the Wolves guys stream? And I told her, I said, yeah, I had him say hi to you on my stream. How cool is that, guys? Don't you feel like happy being a part of that? Let's be happy being a part of that, guys. I'm happy being a part of it. Fuck yeah, Comicsgate. Fuck yeah. we gotta realize it's like we're fighting for a lot of shit right now. Fighting for my two kids and the lives that they can have in a world of creativity, not a world of despair, and a world of financial opportunity, not a world that's sort of like barren of opportunity, creativity, and any kind of financial certainty. And that goes for baby pterodactyl, that goes for Ava, that goes for Dan Fraga's kids, that goes for everybody, Michael Bancroft's kids. Like, we're a group of people that have families that we're taking care of, the creators in this. Some of our kids are grown up, some of our kids are younger, but you're helping families directly. You're not helping huge corporations when you're here. Yeah, fighting for the future. Yes, indeed. People are saying, yeah, that's sick, man. Absolutely. Right the fuck on. You guys are there, man. John, Jeremy Burtz, SI, as you will be known, Admiral Wackass, everybody. This is absolutely what it's about. This is what it's about. We're doing something here that's important. And when you think about this for a minute. When you see people, and it's John's John's a good dude, man. And it's like, having watched him for I don't know how long. Now it's been, well, since 2018, but certainly when he started coming on Ethan's streams, because I know it's hard. Like, sometimes the timeline gets blurred for me. Like, I know he wasn't on camera up until a certain point he always talks about, but to me it's kind of a blur because was watching him on the Jack show, and the trip to the Walmart was kind of, I think, probably the first time I really paid attention to him, because he was so freaking funny on that show. But the fact that he didn't just go, I mean, he's a nice guy, obviously he's not going to do that, but the fact is, like, I'm not going to say hi to your kids, man. What the hell. Let's see here. Tommy says, world of strength and opportunity, not a wasteland of victimhood and restrictions. You're absolutely right. And I'll tell you this, if anybody wants to know the quickest way to get on my good side, and I'm not saying, like, I'm not trying to say this to, like, just be about back my book, but I mean this is just in general, are the things that people do for my family, the things that people do to help my kids. Those are the things that, and my wife, like, if someone's nice to my wife and helps my wife out, they're like gold to me. Someone is nice to her, and, like, somebody, just because she's such a hardworking person. And when people cut her some slack, I'm always like, telling people I think my wife is great, and I like them to respect her and take care of her, when she's out, whether it's getting the car fixed, or, getting, work done at work, or, trying to get her computer fixed or whatever. I always want to make sure that people are treating her well and with respect. The same thing goes with the kids. And I want to make sure my kids are courteous and respectful. And to see, my kids don't ask for a lot, and they know they can't be, on camera and a part of this whole thing, in the sense of, because I've never, my policy has always been that, I mean, it's hard to do, but I want you guys to know that my family knows who the hell you guys are, and my kids know who you guys are, and that you're supporting us. So don't ever think that they don't, and know that my wife and I appreciate it, man. You see here, yeah, all right, cool. So just checking to see where we are, guys. Holy cow, I'm starting to feel it, man. What are we at? 359. Okay, guys, let me see here. I want to do a couple more detail marks on here, and let's get this in the light. I feel like I need more light on this thing. Hang on a second here. Focus. Let me see here. I feel like the camera's a little out of focus there, but maybe I'm just losing my vision here from exhaustion. So let me just go in and put some highlights here just to test to see if I can get those where I want them to be. But here we go. There we are. I'm going to bring out just a little bit of that texture right there up front. And this is going to be a really fun sketch to work on, and a really fun sketch for us to sort of, have unfold. It's a little bit like the piece I'm doing of Phil Diaz's character, The Masquerade. And again, that the starting process of that. I am going to paint that again on stream. I've even, getting this set up to be, primed and organized so that it's going to be more effective for painting acrylics. But let's see. Kids and the wife could do voiceovers or artwork. Yeah, it's true. Well, so actually let's do this. So this will be a fun thing for me to do right here out of curiosity, and just put ones in the chat if you want to see this, guys. So I'm not going to force this on any of you guys. Would any of you guys like to see, actually, let me see. Hold on a second. I think I might have a, oh gosh, let me see if this is on here. I don't know if it is, but let's just see here. Hang on one sec. File, find. I love to say these things aloud because it makes me seem even more like a boomer. Let me see here. Oh, cool. All right, it is here. So now if I can just figure out. Okay, I got it. Hang on. Be patient with me, guys. I'm sorry. I know this is dead air and depressing, but I promise it'll be worth it. Or not. You never know. Sorry if I'm bad at promotion here. Go to downloads. Go to here. There we go. Open. All right. So would you guys, are you guys cool? Put ones in the chat. Oh, do not do that to me. An error occurred. Wait a moment and try again. Don't do that to me. I'm not in the mood here. Come on. It's going to say no. I think it's going to stop me. The file might be a little too big. Yeah, the file's too big. Dang it. That would have been cool, but we are where we are. I'm trying to think if there's another way for me to do it. But let me know in the chat. That's right. So let me know in the chat if you guys would. Oh, you know what? I'm going to try one more thing. Hang on a second. I'm going to try one more thing because I just realized this I can do. Oh, yeah, this is going to work. Hang on a second. What? Huh. Oh, okay. Never mind. That's a problem because apparently, one more sec. Let's try this here. Just realized something because we've been going on for a while here. Hang on a second here. The music stopped, and I was like, wait a second. So I'm going to get that on, and then I'm going to go here, and I'm going to try to find this. Hang on a second. Nope. Try one more. There it is. Hang on. That is why it wouldn't work. Nope. Don't want that. Nope. Download. Okay, we're going to see if this works. I actually think this is going to work. I am hopeful, people. Okay. Now I'm going to just close out a window like a boomer. So just watch. The music stopped. Good thing I was already seated. That's right. Yeah, it was like musical chairs. All right, so let's see if we can pull this off. I'm going to try this one more time because I do think it was clearly the result of, let me see here, previous 30 days. That's May, and then we're going to go to downloads, and here we go. All right, this is only 31 seconds, but let's see if it works because I think this is actually a file that can exist. Now, if it doesn't work, then we are where we are. Then I'm tapping out on this thing. On this one, and I'll show you something else. But that's interesting. It's really trying, bless its heart. But that's how we learn. So I'm gonna let it. Oh, there it is. Right. No sooner than I said that. Okay, guys. So I'm gonna check the comment section. If I get a couple ones in the chat, let me know if you want to. I'm gonna show you an example of my son's 3D modeling from when he was 15. If you guys want to see it. I will put it up. It's like 30 seconds, but it'll give you a sense. It's not the stuff that he does, like that's aviation accuracy, but if you guys are interested in it, let me know, and I will show you a little bit about what he does, and we'll go from there. So, okay, I got a 1. Let's see if we get any more of those, and then we'll go from there. So, this brush. I'll move that in frame so you guys can see it. Oh, shit. Okay. I turned my head down for like 1 second, and like there's a bunch of ones. Here you go, guys. Here's a look at my son's stuff. So. So yeah, that's the stuff that he's been doing since he was like about 15. So he designed a car, and then he came up with the lighting and built an environment. He does all that stuff in Blender, and yeah, it's like, he just is. That's the thing he's passionate about, kind of like about art. So that's the kind of stuff that he does, that he likes to do. So who knows? Maybe he'll be doing some Comicsgate stuff and some Comicsgate animation at some point. And since you guys put some ones in the chat, I'm going to knock a bunch of stuff over and fall over and make a fool of myself, but I'm going to show you something else cool, because I can't. Well, the thing about having twins is you can't really show one without the other. But one of these is from when she was 15. The other one is just from the other week, and it's a sketch. But this is a watercolor painting that my daughter did when she was 15, like last year. She did a watercolor of an elephant, and then she's been practicing, working on understanding how to paint eyes. And it's that's the kind of thing that the kids do. Like, I remember seeing this and going, we don't even like talk art or do any of that stuff at home. And she's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do a watercolor painting of an elephant. So I guess she just watches this, but she's teaching herself how to play the guitar, and she does ballet, and she's just one of those kids, man. Just they're both so motivated and they do cool stuff. But yeah, I told my son I would, he wanted a computer so that he could explore this stuff, and I told him I wouldn't get him one unless he figured it out on our old 2008 computer. And I said, Blender will run on it, so show me what you can do. And he did. Bless his heart. He just got it together. And, we just try to, I want them to be able to work so that as we start to create, wow, has she seen Anna? Yes. Yes. My daughter likes Anna a lot. My daughter thinks Anna's cool. I think it's because my daughter has is like kind of looks like her a little bit. She's got, my daughter's obviously, a fourth South Asian Indian. So she's got her kind of, she's got that look a little bit, too, but she's got the brown hair and brown eyes. And, she watched Anna and Cecil stream the Mandalorian finale, and she thought that, her heart really went out to Anna and everything like that. So yeah, my kids know you guys, and my kids, I don't know how to describe it. It's kids are growing up in a world where they're not particularly naive about things, and they're aware of a lot of different things. But what is important for them to know is that people are still laughing, and people can be creative, and people can be friends and be there for each other. And I think that Comicsgate really shows that. And I think it's really great. Oh, thank you, Sumo Thori. She'll love to hear that, Next step variant cover gig. Yeah, what I like about Blender is a total nut up or shut up kind of situation. You know what I mean? It's a light program. It's free. It's open source, and it's as far as your work ethic and your ability can take you. And he's used it. He knows coding as well, so he's used it to build accurate aviation assets. And he's been doing that since I think he was 14 or 15. He had his first thing in a game, and he had to figure out how to build it, code it so the flaps on the planes were accurate, and they did what they did. The landing gear worked without being too buggy in the game. This kid is like, he's like I was, man. I was sending out submissions to Marvel and DC Comics when I was 11. It was the first time I sent stuff out, I was just, let's make it happen. And that's what I love about it. Who knows what your support for artists and what our community. See, you need to have an audience of people with taste to grow a movement like this. You have to. People who give a damn about the paper quality and what really great art is. You can't have people who cannot tell the difference between some of the schlock that's being put out there right now, where you've got a spaceship called Vessel and a rock alien. You know what I mean? And have them, if they see that and Inglorious Rex is the same thing, we're in some trouble, guys. Oh, for God's sake. Stephen Rockwood, you got to be kidding me, man. You've got to be kidding me. I can't. All right, hang on a second, gang. I'm going to boomer the hell out of this. But let's do it. Let's do it. Let's boomer this thing. Hold on a second. Share screen. Chrome tab. Let's do this. Nosfero. And I'm going to share it. And then I'm going to come back over into StreamYard. And let's see here. And I'm going to add this to the stream. And then let's refresh and see what happens, guys. Let's refresh and see what happens. You guys are crazy. Oh, my God. All right, I'm switching camera setups. Hang on a second here. There we go. Oh, God, my camera's a mess. Sorry, guys. Yeah. Oh, my God. What the hell did I just do in here? Hang on a second. Oh, man. Look at those glasses hanging off my nose for dear life. Bless their hearts. Let's move this together. There we go. I'm just going to put it in the center like this, guys. Guys, this is crazy. This is amazing. I want you guys to think about this, okay? There's a woman upstairs who I love more than anything, who, you know, my wife doesn't know about. No, I'm kidding. Couldn't resist. There's a woman upstairs that I love very much who has supported me, who said, hi, Comicsgate, when we've hit our deadline, who knows you guys, you've watched Ethan. There's 2 kids upstairs, and their dad is going to get to tell them. She's going to wake up to that we've hit another $1,000 benchmark, that we hit 13K. And we hit 13K because of Comicsgate. Like, we hit 13K because of you guys. We did not know this was going to happen. This was a leap of faith, guys. And I don't even know what to say. I really don't know what to say, man. I see all these guys working their ass off and sharing their creativity with people, and the joy on their faces when they're able to say to their spouses and their wives and their kids and say, hey, guys, we're going to have a better life now because of what Comicsgate's doing, because of the support for the artwork. These people are supporting us. They're supporting your father. They're supporting your parents. And I loved being on the part of it where I was backing books so much, and I will always be. You know, I just backed Lost Pages 2 the other day. I'm always going to love that aspect of things. Whew. But being on the receiving end of it, guys, is overwhelming. And I'm not going to let you guys down. I love you guys. Thank you for the support. It's really a fucking lot. It really is. And yeah, it's a pretty cool thing to be in CG and be doing this. And you guys are awesome. Oh, thanks, John. You guys are great. I really do. I have faith. I know we're going to get to where we're meant to be getting to. I really do. And that's the thing about it, is I'm always going to be so appreciative of you guys. And I know you guys are going to keep helping to get the word out, man. You know, I mean, it's like, I really do believe that in spite of a lot of things that we've all seen and experienced, and that I've seen and experienced, that if you put good out into the world enough, and if you put hard work out into the world, that that things, things come back around, and people, there's a lot of caring people out there who appreciate that and know that and need that. And I think sometimes if I'm positive, I will tell you this, if I seem positive about a lot of things, it's because I drank the negativity Kool-Aid in my youth. And I got to a certain point where I looked at that and I go, this is a horrible way to live. And my heart's not in this. I care about people. I care about art. I care about beauty. And I can't fake this anymore. And to find people who care about those things and support those things is probably one of the best things that I ever could have foreseen for my life. And you guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. Oh my Lord. Thank God. It's a lot. It is really a lot it's a lot to process, guys. You guys are awesome. So let me see here. All right. So here's one more. Yeah, real sense is real. Absolutely right, guys. And you guys are real. You guys are so real. And that's what I love about being here in Comicsgate. We mean the shit we say and do. So guys, here's the detail aspect of it, and I'm going to show you one more trick that I like to do, and I'll see if it works. It may or may not work, but it's always worth doing to try this stuff out. So this is the last thing I'm going to do. I'm going to water down one color, which is this purple pink kind of color. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to wash it lightly over that front section of the face, and then kind of in between and around this section. And what the purpose of that is to just do one sort of move that, well, if you can see that focus, that's going to start to tie the colors together. And then where that orange gets a little bit too punchy and too contrasty, I'm going to take a wash of white right in here. Your appreciation. Thank you, Sumo Thori. I appreciate it. Your appreciation is noted, but we appreciate you putting in all this work to give us awesome book out. And you know I will, and I absolutely that's the thing I'm the most excited about. All of the rest of this stuff is just gravy, man. It's like all the extra stuff. And God, when I said that, all I could think about is how much I enjoyed Thanksgiving gravy. So what are you gonna do? I'm always gonna be that guy, who thinks about country fried steak and white gravy and thinks about Thanksgiving turkey. What can you do, people? What can you do? But yeah, here you go, guys. So I'm just going to put in those two highlights there because that brings me to a pretty decent stopping point for exploring this character. And gravy, John. I swear one of these days I'm going to go to the doctor and they're going to say, sir, your blood type is gravy. That'll be it. I'm well on my way. So guys, I have got to go hit the hay. It's 4:18 in the morning here, and everybody else is on a normal schedule but me. So I got to get some shut eye so I can actually, take my wife for, a walk tomorrow and look at the fall colors and things like that. And we can have our conversations without the kids running around and spend some time with the kids and the family. And I cannot wait till she wakes up in the morning and sees what you guys have done for our family. I mean, is it possible that we're going to, sleep fast. Amen. Ooh, chicken fried steak. I love it when I lived in Texas. Yeah, I do too, Sumo Thori. I will sleep fast because you know what? It's like we got to make sure we're meeting this challenge head on every chance that we get and that we just keep making cool stuff. But I'm really finding myself thinking, is it possible that we're going to get to 200 backers by the end of this thing? Like, that would be huge, man. That would be crazy if we got to 200 backers. So yes, Jeremy Burtz, I will see you later, guys. All of you guys, hail Crack Pack, hail Comicsgate. Thank you, Comicsgate. Thanks all of you guys. And you guys do me a favor and just keep bringing positivity out there. We're going to get a lot of shit thrown at us, but let's make sure that we're representing Comicsgate with positivity. I said this earlier on the stream that a lot of you guys were in. The big shock of those of us who are fans of comics and pop culture has been the going from the what the to going to the what if. Comicsgate's the what if. And so let's keep ourselves in what if mode and put out positivity, because people cannot, the more enthusiasm we have for this stuff, the harder their narrative is going to be to keep pushing forward, because it's bullshit and we know that. But saying that a lie is different than actually putting the truth out there, which is we're a really cool, supportive community of some of the most creative people you're ever going to meet, some of the most well-read, curious, and interested people you're ever going to meet. That's what Comicsgate is. So let's keep kicking ass, guys. Yeah, absolutely. Bow. Peace out, all. Love you guys. Thank you so much. I will have a good night. SDA, thank you. Absolutely, SI. Peace out, brother. Jeremy Bird, see you later. Yes, and I will sleep fast. So let me say this, too, as well. We're going to end the broadcast as we always do, or as we're always going to try to do. And let me just see here. Here's a shout-out to my crew and everybody. Stay gold and peace.
Here's a little something for you busters. Yeah.
You're not even learning anything on the street.
Yeah.
You think I'm stupid, son?
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say to you, boy?
Yeah.
Do you?
What's up with that?
Look at me, man.
Y'all cowards don't even smoke crack. What's up with
You
that?
smoke crack, don't you?
Y'all cowards don't even smoke crack.
Look at me, boy.
Hey to
You
you,
smoke crack, don't you?
don't even smoke crack.
You know what that does to you? Huh? You smoke crack, don't you?
Smoke crack.
Go on and do it expeditiously.
What's up with that?
It kills your brain cells, son. It kills your brain cells.
Don't even smoke crack.
No gut, huh?